Hello, I'm Claire from createdtheottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin'Up in the UK. Thank you for joining me today. If you've never seen my video tutorials before, I like to do fairly easy cards that are perfect for a beginner but also perfect for somebody who's been crafting a while to just turn into their own. So what I tend to do is give you the basic make of the card, show you a few things you could do to it, but leave you to go away and turn it into your own masterpiece. I've put the annual catalogue there just to tease you a bit. That is coming very soon, a brand new catalogue with lots of good new goodies and lots of ideas and inspiration. This is the make we are doing today. The last couple of videos that I've done have been fun folds that are on a similar pattern to this, and I completely confess I have become obsessed. So just in finding new ways, new layouts on them and new different takes on them. So as you can see, if I fold this flat, this has got panels on it. I love how it shows you, it allows you to show both sides of the designer series paper. This paper in fact is from the new catalogue. As a demonstrator I get to have a little play with selected stuff for pre-order, and I am in love with this. This is Hues of Happiness. So I will very quickly show you because I know it can get boring. That's the two sides of the paper. Particularly loving this navy there, which you can see I've done on this card here. So it's a fun fold. This is the back panel. Now you could choose this to have as where you would put your personal message to the recipient, but I actually liked the idea of doing it a little bit hidden behind there. So mine is on the back side of this, and that leaves a really nice big area for me to show off this beautiful paper. And then what I've done is I've picked a pattern that's got a fairly small bit of detail on it also, because then it's not lost in this card. The flowers as well, I'll show you, or I'll talk to you at the end about how I did those, because yes, they are cut from the paper, but they were a bit flat for me, so I've just sort of done something to them to make them stand out a bit. I did stamp some flowers and die cut them, but they just didn't seem to be quite right. This is a little bit of stamping, and that's it really. So shall we get crafting? Okay, so I might refer to that again, so I just put that to one side. The sizes that you need, where have I put this size in? Oh, if I leave that there while I talk to you a little bit. I don't know what to call this fold. I've tried to be clever. I'm sure there is other folds the same around, but at the minute I've just called it a folding tea card. And you literally just need an A4 sheet of card, and we're just going to do some score lines and some cuts. And then the layers, I've given you the sizes, if I put that straight, for the first layer, which on this one is melon mango. And then the designer series paper goes on top, and I've gone down 1/8 of an inch on all of them. So rather than put loads and loads of sizes for you, I've just done it there. But I will talk you through that as we go. So, crafting. So I'm again going to use some of the paper. And this time I am using this colour paper. That's what it's like on the other side, but I particularly like the floral element on this. And then the other paper that I'm using to go alongside it from the pack, I've got a small piece here, but it's got the very tiny little flowers on. So if I show you that, let me just get that. So it's the sheet that's got these colours all over it, but I've just carefully cut out the pieces I need. And then it's this sheet, and I've just cut a piece out of that. But what I've done, because Stampin'Up coordinates their colours so fabulous, I am going to be using Night of Navy as my background paper, and my base card is going to be Coastal Cabana. So just when you layer them together, it already gives you a bit of a wow. It's not normal colours that I would use, but already I'm really liking it. So what I would do is get your paper out, have a look on the back. I don't know where my bit's gone now. Here. So in your paper pack, whatever size it is, it will have the list of colours that are in it. Have a look through your stash and just layer things up together and see what they look like. See that I would have to choose completely different colour card to go with that. But this is, it's going to be that way and I'm very happy. Okay, so I've done a lot of prep on my pieces that go on the front, just to save you having to watch me for ages and ages. But you're going to start off with your A4 card and you are concentrating on the short side and you are literally just cutting it off at 6 inches. Now this fits in a standard UK size envelope. Sorry for you, those of you who will need to resize. And you're just cutting it off at 6 inches and that's it. That's the card size that you need. So now you're going to turn it on the long side and you're going to do some scoring. Okay, so the first score line you're going to do is 1 15/16. Now don't panic, all that means is it's one line under the 2 inches. So if you get your card to 2 inches and then go back one, you can see it's just there. Make sure that cutting blade is out of the way. It's too easy to cut it off and just give yourself a nice score line there. Now the next score line is 3 7/8, which is 2 lines back from 4 inches, if that is easier for you to figure out. 3 7/8. The next one is 5 13/16. So all of these little lines are 1/16 and you need 13 of them. So if you go to 6 inches and then come back 3 little lines, that will give you 13/16. And then the very last score line is 7 3/4. Phew, an easy one. 7 3/4. And that is your score lines done. Ta-da! I'm hoping you can see this. I was going to do another navy card, but navy's really difficult to see. So what you should have is 1, 2, 3, 4 like long panels, and then this piece here, which is your back card. Now what you're going to do is turn it sideways. It doesn't really matter which way round you put it, whether you do your panels at the top or your long piece, but I'm going to put it at panels at the top. Now what I need to do is cut a line from this first score line to this third score line. So I get 1.5 inches in. So I find 1.5 inches. I line my card up at this edge and make sure that it's right at the top there. Bring my cutting blade back in. Okay, and it's got a very helpful line on the side on the Stampin' Up ones. I'm just lining it up with my score line and I'm cutting to this score line here. So through here, from this score line here, right through to this score line here. So from the first to the third. Okay, I'm just going to have a look. Yeah, that's fine. And then I also need to do it, slide it along and do it at 4.5. Okay, so 4.5. So if I lift that off and show you, get that one out of the way because I don't need that anymore. What you should have is this cut line here and here. Okay, so you've got cut lines there. So how does my card fold? Well, that's the back piece of your card, so start there. Okay, that's going to go like that. So you've got that nice back piece. This piece is, right, let me think about this. These bits are going to go in, so we're going to push those ones in. This one is going to go in like that. Okay, can you see that before I really push it? So this is your back piece, then you've got a flat panel there, then this is bent upwards and these two end bits are bent backwards. So now if you bring that over to meet your card, you should end up with that, which is why I called it a T fold. Okay, so you should end up with a card that is like that, which will fit in an envelope flat for posting. So now that's it. Ta-da! Pat yourself on the back. You've made a card. And it's just not a simple card. It's going to be a wow card. Okay, so now to decorate. Now, you can decorate. There's loads of different ways. All of these, you could do different panels, different pieces. But I decided to use this piece here, which overlaps the two, as my sentiment, my message area that I'm going to put my personal message. So if I just show you that, so instead of having two panels, I've used that as a whole big area, and I'm going to do the same on the front here, just so that it gives a different design on my card. So these two squares, they are 2 3/4 by 3 5/8. 2 3/4 by 3 5/8. And then what I will do is layer them with my white card, but I'm going to stamp that first. So I've just gone 1/8 of an inch smaller. Okay, so if it's 2 3/4, it would be 2 5/8. And if it's 3 5/8, it would be 3 4/8. And that gives you that nice layered effect. Obviously it's sliding a bit, but it would be like that. Now you've got 8 different rectangles here. So again, I've done those in the navy. Okay, so that is going to go there and there, there and there, 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 there and there. See, easy peasy. Those are 1 3/8 by 1 3/4. So you could use your scraps up for those. Perfect way to use up scraps. So that's 1 3/8 by 1 3/4. And then the designer series paper that I've used 4 squares that are my big floral, but as you can see, when you cut it down, you get a slightly different look to it. And I'm just going to stagger them just a bit different, just to make them look different. I'm just going to move them around till I'm happy with the colours, because obviously you can see different colours on them, and I don't want 2 navies at the front. So that's that. Okay, and then did I tell you what size they were? So the navy blue piece is 1 3/8 by 1 3/4. So the DSP on top is 1 2/8 by 1 5/8. Okay, so that's that. And then shockingly, we just need this last piece. So back piece here is 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. Super easy. And then this layers on the top, and that is 3 5/8 and 5 5/8. Job done. Okay, shall we stick some of them on? Let's do that. The other thing that I always do with my designer series paper, Stampin' Up coloured card, is the same colour all the way through, so there's no horrible white edges. But on the designer series paper there, it's got a white core, so I use a stamping marker, usually the same colour as my piece of card that it's going on, and using the fat end, I just go along the edge and that just gets rid of that harsh white line, which you don't see too much, but you do when you put it against a dark colour. So that is that. I would also probably, I think I did on the other one, I would stick this square on first to give, well, it's not really a square, is it? It's a rectangle. To give me an idea where I want the other ones to be. So I haven't put the white on, I'm just putting the light of navy at the moment, because I want to stamp on these before I stick them. But putting that frame there gives me an idea where these are going to go, as in relation to them. So although they've got a whole panel here, can you see, it gives you a better idea of where you want to put those. And then this just goes on the top, like so. And it's as easy as that. So the next one just puts on like this. And then the other colour card, let me bring that over. Now, I have cut it so it's got the tiny Coastal Cabana flowers on it, but some of it is also got a different colour on it. So I'm going to be really careful about where I put them. I want it to look good. Does that make sense? Right, I've done something wrong, I think. Have I? Oh, it's because that looks very similar, doesn't it? Very similar. Maybe I need to move that one. Put that one there. That one there. Just have a little play around until you're happy. And which one? That actually needs to go there. That one goes there. That's it. I think I'm happy now. So this one is going to go next. Okay. Now you don't want to stay and watch me stick all this together, so I will finish this in a minute. Let me bring in the stamp set and the dies that I use. So the stamp set that I use that is in the suite in the catalogue is Happiness Abounds. Really beautiful flowers. You could see why I tried stamping them to see if they would match, but I just wasn't convinced by it. Something just wasn't right. But they are absolutely stunning flowers, and I really like the sentiments, the curvy sentiments that have got two fonts. So on this card it's got wishing you all the happiness you can imagine, and then on the other side, congratulations. So perfect for an engagement or a wedding card. So that's what I did on those. And this stamp here, oh, don't know if you can see this stamp here, the leaves I just over stamped a few times in the same garden green, so just to highlight that. The flowers, now when I cut my flowers out from the back paper, let's move these out of the way so you can see. Da, da, da. So you can see they're really beautiful flowers in themselves, but when I cut them out to put on my card, they're very flat, and I just wasn't loving it. So when I put them on the front of my card, it was just really flat. I tried layering them on dimensionals. No, it wasn't happening. So what I did was I die cut. So in your dies that come with it, you get these outlines for the stamps. So this one will fit onto this one and such like. Now I used a couple of the outlines, this one and this one, and I just die cut, oh, sticking to my finger, die cut some of these, didn't do anything more to them, just die cut them. And then what I do is I spritzed it with some water. So basically just squirted it with some water, oh, like that, can you see? And then just screwed it up like so. Okay, and I did the same with the background. Now, if you've been crafting a while, this is not a new technique. This has been around forever. But you just screw them up and then you leave them to dry, or depending on how textured you want them, you could just open them like that. Leave them to dry. But what happens then is it has messed with the fibres of your cards, so they're already suddenly a different shape, including this one. So what I would do then is take this one, the opposite colour, so Coastal Cabana with a Night of Navy, layer it on the top there, put just a tiny bit of glue behind the middle, and then it gives you that lovely, slightly textured look, but it's still exactly the same flowers as the paper without you having to spend any time at all colouring or trying to get the shading right. So yeah, and then can you see the layer on the back of those? You just play around with what you like. And then the other thing I did was die cut some leaves, just these leaves that are in the set. Where's that die gone? You get that die in the set, and I've just poked those behinds. I've done nothing to those. Now you've got a little bit of time, you can just colour them, do some shading, whatever you want, so they look more like the leaves. But actually I was quite happy with it like that. So go play, have fun. Send me your photos of your makes. I always love to see what you've done. createdtheottaway @gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. If you're in the UK, you can shop with me or even join my team. I'd love to have you on board. I hope you've enjoyed this simple make, and I will see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.